All right, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is called Keep It Moving Group Coaching, and this is all about the collective wisdom. If you've never been here before, my name is Elias Astuto. I'm the Director of Sales and Coaching for Fast Real Estate Broker by EXP, but this is a brand-agnostic event. This was designed to put people in rooms so we can share, so we can contribute, so we can learn, and what we can do as a collective is remove friction. Because somebody on these calls may have an answer to a challenge that you are facing. And so what it does is it removes the guesswork because it puts you in a room that you can learn at a rapid pace because you're learning from so many people. And so you guys, this started out as a thought, as a hope years back, and it started out as a hashtag that I used to put on my post on Facebook years back. I put it on Facebook at hashtag Keep It Moving and keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision. And the reason I called it Keep It Moving is because I heard it from a Wu-Tang song and I was like, I like Keep It Moving. And I applied that to business, life, health, relationships. And now it's become what it's become. And so I'm very honored, I'm very pleased, and I'm very stoked that you guys are all here. And I'm going to get into our special guest in just a moment and do proper introductions. However, Maha, we always do something special for Keep It Moving group coaching. And I have one of the participants take us out on the field. And what that means is that person is walking us onto the field for game day. They're walking out of the tunnel or they're putting their own hands on their shoulders and they're giving themselves a direct message of what they actually need to hear today. And so I have a lot of faces on. I'm not going to call anybody out that doesn't have their screen on. So if that's you, then this will not be applicable. However, I'm actually going to go middle screen because you're right here, Melody. I'm going to go to you. She smiled. She didn't know I was going to do this. No prep work. So Melody, bring the group out on the field. Tell the guests what they can expect from this environment. And let's hear your sentiment for this morning. Let's go.
Good morning, Team Fast. My name is Melody Cleone. I'm in Walnut Creek, California, and this is a collaborative environment. What we do here is we all come, we all pull up a chair, we all just throw our headphones on and we come together as a community Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as you guys all know, and we just get in community with each other. We talk about things that are important to us. We talk about what's going on in the industry, and Elias has a way of bringing that high level information of what's going on in the real estate market to us every single week. And we just throw our hands together. We, just collaborate with one another. We connect and we get to know each other on a really high level. And being in the real estate industry 13 years myself and coming from a traditional brick and mortar brokerage, I have never been a part of a family like this, because if you are a part of this family, you know that we actually operate as a family. So I'm proud to be here. I'm honored to be here. Maha, it's nice to meet you. I checked you out on Instagram yesterday. I absolutely love what you're doing. It'd be an honor to get to meet you one day. And thank you for coming and being a part of our family this morning. So let's get it, you guys.
Let's make that happen.
Yes, I love this. And I got a little bit of chills here. And so I'm really excited. When something lands, it lands. You can feel it internally. But let me share with you first off how this relationship started. And I believe 100% to the core of who I am, the power of social media and what is possible. A lot of you follow Giselle Ugarte, and she's an amazing person, amazing keynote, and her energy is infectious. If you've seen her speak, amazing keynote speaker. Well, we have a relationship. I never met her until January of this year when I spoke at Inman, and same person in person that she is online, which was really cool. Well, we've been talking and, possible opportunities and, how she can help me grow and so many, other things that I want to do in this business. And she introduced me to Maha, and Maha's writing a book right now. She wrote a book. It's called The 7 Rules of Self-Reliance. And we'll go into that in just a moment. And she's like, this might be a person that you want to know and maybe want to pick her brain and maybe get her involved in your group and have her be a guest speaker. And we hopped on a call. I didn't know who she was at that time. And then I started doing my research and then I watched her sizzle reel. And then I went down the rabbit hole on her Instagram. I'm like, why don't I know this person? I'm so glad that I know this person. And now she's here. And so I couldn't be more excited for our guest today. And so a little bit of the background. And if I don't do it justice, Maha, make sure to fill in the blanks. She is an author, 7 Rules of Self-Reliance. She's going to talk about some of the principles in that book today. She's a speaker. She is XPR for Google, for Netflix. She's been Gary Vee's publicist for the last 8 years, but most importantly, from my vantage point, is she's just an amazing person, willing to contribute, give her time to us. And so I'm very stoked and honored to have you here. You asked a couple questions on a podcast recently, and I saw it, or this was a print, and then on a podcast, you said a few things, and I want to start it off with this. You said, what is the gap between what you want to do and what you're capable of doing? And I want to start our meeting out with that. And feel free to write that down, memorize that, whatever you need to do. But what is the gap between what you want to do and what you are capable of doing? And ask yourself that and get very clear with that answer. And then there's the second part of this. And the second part of this is, are you willing to close the difference, right? If you know it's possible, if you know what you're capable of and you can feel it and you can sense it and you can see it, then are you willing to close the difference? I thought that was really powerful, Maha. And a couple of things that you also said, that you said that we're in a value culture versus a hustle culture. And if I quote you incorrectly, make sure to fix this. You said, think about how you, as an individual and as an agent, and as a realtor in this example, how you create value for people. So you're not burning out in a hustle environment. You're constantly trying to create value for others, for yourself, and be valuable for others, but you need to be valuable first. And what I loved about this is you said, you know what, you need to be valuable. You need to have the skills, the knowledge, you need to have the relationships, you need to have a strong personal brand. And I think that's a lot of what we're going to talk about today. One of the principles that she's going to take us through comes directly from the book, and it's number 5, and I'll let her get into all this. And it's, think of your reputation as currency, how to position yourself in the eyes of the world and build your personal brand. There was quite a few principles, obviously 7 of them, and we landed on this one as what we felt would be most applicable to the group. So Maha, hopefully I did our intro justice. I'm very excited about this. I'm ready to be a student, be here. So without further ado, you guys, let's give some love and some energy through emojis on the screen. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Maha as our special guest of Keep It Moving Group Coaching. Let's go, Maha.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm so delighted to be here. I don't know if you can give me access to share my screen.
You got it.
I love the energy of what this group stands for and what you guys are here to do. And I want to make sure that I do one of my rules, which is to create value for other people. And I really want to create value for you guys here today. I was going to share a little bit about, you know, who I am and what I do. He touched on it quickly, but let me just go high level and then get into kind of what I really want to help you guys, you know, learn a little bit about the things that I can help you with for your businesses and your brands. But then I want to leave questions at the end so I can take any of your questions. So let me just see if I can figure out how to share my screen. I think that's what I'm trying to do all these times. So basic, I'm trying to do advanced apps. Okay, hold on a second. Jackie, maybe you want to share from your side. Oh, I think I figured it out because I'm not that. I figured it out. Hold on. We should have this in a second. Sorry about that, you guys. Can you guys see my screen? Does it say, is it yellow?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. So one of the things that, you know, just to give you a little bit of an intro, we're going to talk today is how I want you guys to think of your reputation as a currency. And reputation is the same word as personal brand. So I will walk you through how I think about it and how this can be a really powerful asset for you, not just in your business, but in your relationships and how you take things forward. And I want you to think about your reputation of how you position yourself in the world, not just online, but offline as well, and how you can build your personal brand. He touched on quickly my career. I grew up in Minnesota. I'm 100% Egyptian. I worked at General Mills and Weber Shandwick in the US before I moved to Egypt. And then I lived in Dubai. I lived overseas for 23 years of head of communications at Google, launched and worked for Netflix for 5 years, worked with the ruler of Dubai and a couple of heads of state in the Middle East. And then I moved home during the pandemic to the US. I do work for Gary Vee. My company manages his communications. We've been doing it for the last 8 years. We also serve Deepak Chopra, Jim Quick, among other brands and companies in the region. My mission is to help people communicate better. And with AI and with remote working, you are not only competing with people that are in your city for real estate, there are people that do it now around the country, around the world. And Communications is never going to go out of style. Connecting with audiences always matters. Building relationships is the tentacle to building trust. And if you can build trust, you can actually close a sale, network with other people, and it leads to a lot of good things. Thank you for being here. Obviously, you've talked a little bit about my book, The 7 Rules of Self-Reliance. I'm going to talk today about one of the principles in the book, but I'll touch with you on all of them because I want you guys to understand when I talk about self-reliance, it's not about going it alone and not working with other people. In fact, it's the opposite. So when Elias talked about that gap between what you want to do and what you're capable of doing, it's that gap in the middle that you need to rely on yourself to do. What are the tools that you need? How can you be resourceful? How can you have the confidence to trust your own wisdom and gut? You are the only person who can put you at the top of your priority list. You know what's best for you. So instead of waiting for permission from others or waiting for someone to give you that big opportunity, I'd like you to go out to think about creating it. And self-reliance is not a selfish thing. It is an empowering thing. It is like, okay, I can rely on myself. I can trust myself to have the answers. I can do this. And this book gives you the tools that I think are going to make the difference of people who are really good at being self-reliant and understanding the difference between what I know, what's my self-reliance, what am I really good at, and what do I'm not good at? And then I have to rely on others to help me fill those gaps. So I just want to be clear about what self-reliance is not. It's not about being independent. It's not about not collaborating. It's exactly the opposite. What are the things I should focus on? How many people in this call want to be known as someone who's reliable? Everybody wants to be known when other people rely on. So you have to have those skills for self-reliance. Quickly, I'm going to go over what the rules are because I think it'll give you the context before we go into number 5. And the first one is stay low, keep moving. So this was a mantra. Obviously, it's a military term about like how they would crouch down, stay low, and just keep moving. Stay low, put in the effort, put in the hard work. You need to get results, but you're not going to do it by just saying, hey, look at me. I know things. I'm very good at what I do. You got to put in the effort. You got to put in the sweat. And that's what when I talk about when I say stay low. Keep moving. Everybody has adversity. Everybody has obstacles. Everybody has challenges, whether it's work, family, health concerns, financial concerns. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have setbacks and roadblocks. So I want you to know how to stay low and keep moving despite all of those distractions of people telling you can't do it, getting a lot of no's until you finally get that yes. What are the things that you need to do to stay focused so that you can stay low and keep moving? Second is be a value creator. And this is something I'm 54. I've built my career on this for the last 30 years in my work, is I always try to figure out how I can add value for the other side. What is it that they find important and how can I deliver that? So you need to be an intuitive listener. You need to think about what are some of the problems that they're facing. Is there a connection you can make for them? Is there a problem you can solve for them? Being a value creator is what makes you indispensable to other people because they understand that you're showing your good intentions of like, okay, I'm going to create value for you. And I'm going to keep making what I call deposits in that trust bank so that one day I can make a withdrawal. So it's showing up consistently for somebody, sharing an article or an idea. You can create value for somebody else by introducing them to someone. You can create value for somebody else by sharing their content on social media. You're opening them up to new audiences. So it doesn't have to be a heavy lift. It's just the mindset of thinking, how can I create value for others? Because when you create value for others consistently, you ultimately create value for yourself, right? Because I've gained from that experience. I've learned from that opportunity. I've gotten something out of that experience and it created value for me. And to Elias's point about in order for you to create value for other people, you must first be valuable. That's sort of jumping into rule number 4, but it's about investing in yourself. Like I'm a lifelong learner. I'm curious about things. I want you to think about, what do I need to learn? What are new skills that I have? Oh, what's happening with AI? How can that help me with my real estate business? How can that help me be a better agent or broker? Or how can that help me generate sales? Lean into learning into the new tools that are out there. And being a lifelong learner is something that's won't cost you a thing. You know, the internet is for free. Podcasts are for free. YouTube videos are for free. There's a million resources out there. You know, the other way to learn that's for free, from other people. Learning from other people is one of the things that a lot of people overlook. You can learn from books, you can learn from podcasts, you can learn from YouTube videos, but you can also learn from other people in business, other people who have failed, other people who have succeeded. So don't overlook learning from other people as a way to be a lifelong learner. Let me jump back to number 3, since I skipped it. Don't be a waiter. So somebody told me a long time ago, about 20 years ago, that I'm a waiter, that I'm just waiting for Mr. Right. I'm waiting for that opportunity to come along. I'm waiting for someone to give me my big break. I'm waiting for someone to make that introduction for me. And when he said that to me, I was like, hit me like a Mack truck. I was like, what? I'm not a waiter. That's not who I want to be in this world. That's not what I want to be on this planet. Like, we only have so much time on earth, guys. How do you want to spend your time? I don't want to be a waiter. I want to do the things I'm thinking about. I want to achieve the dreams I want to achieve. Like, if you are not pursuing things that you care about because you're worried about what other people will think, or you're fearing failure, that's a terrible way to live, because life is short. And so I want you to think about, okay, there's an opportunity that I'd love to have. What steps do I need to take a day from now, a year from now, a month from now, 6 months from now, 6 years from now, to create that? Is it a relationship I'm missing? Is it credibility I don't have? Is there something I need to be doing to create that opportunity? Do I need to put myself in a different position? Do I need to move cities? Do I need to get some training? Do I need to attend events that I don't normally attend so I can learn to meet other people? That's the mentality of like trying to go from a waiter to a creator. Number 5, which we're going to dig into, the reputation. 6 is about being a long-term player. This matters so much in business. We live in a world where we want real time. We want to download something in real time. We want 3 seconds for a video to load. We want to tap to pay to get out of there. We want to download a no season right away and get it. We don't want to wait. We live in a time where we just want everything now. And if we don't get information now and we don't have transparency now, we get frustrated. But business is different. Business is about relationships. Business is about playing the long game. And I really want to help explain, and you can get into the book when you buy it, if you buy it, about what does that mean to be a long-term player? It means you put your people over profit. So you invest in your people and your culture. It means what are the things that you need to make deposits now so that you can make those withdrawals later, in thinking about the long term. It doesn't mean that everything you do in life is played the long term. There are going to have to be some things that you do on shorter scales, but learning to do both, I think, could make a huge difference for you. And then last but not least, no regrets. Like, it's very hard to live a life without any regrets, right? It's so hard to do, and it's hard to say. But I feel like if you think about, okay, I failed. I've been fired from jobs. I failed plenty. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I've kind of turned those struggles into strengths. I've tried to take those setbacks and make them into comebacks. And so I talk a lot about the mentality of letting go of the things that hold you back, because when you rely on yourself, you feel so empowered that you know how to do things and you know exactly who to get help from and when. So high level on the rules. Before we go forward into talking about the reputation, is there anything you guys like, feedback or questions or anything that you'd like to share? I just want to make it as interactive as possible, of anything that you guys want to talk to me about.
I could just share my opinion. First off, this has been great thus far. I think people can agree the energy is great. I think this lands on a very, very high level for everyone on the call. That's my vantage point currently.
Okay. And I'm happy to spend time talking about anything. Like, the long-term player one also has to do a lot with networking. And how do you network on social media? How do you network on LinkedIn? How do you network with your current network, people that you feel are in your network? How do you keep up with them and keep those relationships? It's hard. It's hard to talk to many people one-on-one. So who are the people that should be in the one-to-many bucket? Who should be in the one-to-one bucket? And who are the target people that you'd love to have in your network or you'd love to network with? So we can go into that. Okay, reputation as a currency. I like to frame it as thinking of your reputation as a currency, because it's the most valuable thing you have. You only own one thing. You were born with your name. It is the only thing that someone cannot take away from you, right? Your knowledge, you manage and control. Your name is your reputation. And whatever job you do, it's usually tied to your reputation. Your title is tied to your reputation. But no one's going to care about your reputation as much as you should. And I want to emphasize today about your brand has a lot to do with your reputation. So I want to ask you guys this question. When you think of your brands in terms of currency, what is it worth? And how can you grow it? And how can you protect it? That's what I want to spend some time thinking about. Like, okay, do I have a good reputation? And how do I know if it's a good reputation? What do I think my brand is worth? Is it valuable for other people? Is it valuable for friends? Is it valuable for family? Is it valuable for my business relationships? How do I think I'm going to grow my reputation? How am I going to grow my personal brand? And what do I need to do to protect it? We live in a world where someone can post a video and broadcast it to the world just like that, anytime, anywhere, right? So I want you to be intentional about, okay, if you leave this call today thinking Maha really talked to us a lot about being intentional with our brands and protecting our reputations because no one else is going to do it for us. What are some of the things I need to do to build that? I think it's skipped. I don't know why I'm having a hard time. Okay. So reputation is your new currency, and it's the only currency that matters. It is how you will get customers. It is how you will get leads. It is how you will keep your good reputation. It is how you will get recommendations. It is how you will get word of mouth. So it's very, very important that you think about focusing on it and understanding it and thinking of it like a currency. Having a good reputation is kind of built on three sort of big things in my point of view. One is you have a strong narrative. What is your purpose? What is the story you want people to know about you? And that something that's clear and easy for people to understand internally amongst your colleagues at work and externally with your customers, your clients, your partners, and people that you work with. Do you have deep relationships within your community? And how do you keep those deep relationships, especially if it's a remote relationship? How do you do that? And then you want to build a reliable brand that people trust. Think about Delta Airlines today. Delta Airlines is 4 or 5 days into the crisis of what happened with CrowdStrike last weekend. And they're still dealing with it, even though it really had nothing to do with them. It was a piece of software that impacted their business. But their reputation, they're on the news every day. They're still taking a hit. It's still not fixed. Customers are still complaining. The government is now investigating them. You know, they want to have a reliable brand that people trust. But a lot of people are starting to lose trust because all the other airlines are up and running, but they are not. So having a reliable brand that people trust is essential to building and protecting your reputation, i.e. your currency. From now on, when we think about personal branding, because a lot of people have their definitions of what personal branding is, I want you to think about it as reputation. So when someone says, are you building your personal brand? And what we're actually going to do today, I'm going to teach you the tools on how to build your personal brand. I'm actually talking about your reputation. And it's synonymous. Personal brand equals reputation. Personal branding is the practice of marketing yourself as a brand. So you may think, I'm not a social media influencer, Maha. This isn't for me. That's exactly what I'm trying to explain. It is not about being a social media influencer. It's about marketing yourself and marketing yourself as a brand, because that's how you're going to build and grow your reputation and build and grow and protect your business. Personal branding is not about self-promotion. It's about two things. It's about idea promotion and thought leadership, right? So a lot of people think, oh, look at me, I know things. I'm posting about, I did this and I went to this event and I went to this award and I got this and I got this. This is exactly what you should not be doing, right? You should be thinking about first your audience and how do you bring value to your audience? And two, you should be sharing your ideas. And you should be sharing things that your thought leadership, your hot takes on things, your point of view, your ideas, your strategies. So let me give you an example, because I think this will also relate to what you are doing. I have somebody who I was working with who's a personal trainer, and there are a million personal trainers on the market. There are a million personal trainers on social media. And she's like, I don't know. There's just so many people out there that create content of their workouts and their nutrition and what they eat. I don't really think that I'm going to be able to add something new or I'm going to be able to do something that other people aren't doing. And so I said to her, I said, your personal brand is the combination of three things: your skills and your experience and your personality. So many people on this call might have the same skills and the exact same experience, but they don't have your personality, right? Your personal brand is personal to you. What are the things you want people to know about your personal brand? And how do you articulate what that story looks like? And how do you use it to create stronger relationships, to build trust, and to acquire customers? And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about a personal brand. It's those three things. It's your skills, it's your experience, and it's your personality. So thinking about this, I want you to put yourself first. So like I mentioned before, no one's going to put you at the top of their priority list. So I want you to put yourself first and spend some time today, after today. And I have a lot of free guides and checklists and things I can share with you of like, okay, what should my personal brand be about? How do I think I'm going to differentiate myself? How do I need to collaborate with other people on this call to work on what they perceive me as and how I can be building a better personal brand to help build my business? We live online and offline. So your personal brand is not just about what you do on social media. In fact, the offline is way, way, way more important. How do you treat people? What relationships do you have? How do you conduct yourself? And how do you be consistent with your online, offline? I love when Elias said, well, you know, when I met her in true life, she was exactly what she was on social. Like, that authenticity matters. That consistency matters. This is not about making you strong on social. You know, the real game is the ground game, which is in real life, right? And don't overlook that, especially for your business and line of work. It's everything from how do you treat the barista at Starbucks to the follow-up you do with a customer after you've closed a sale. That consistency of your reputation and your personal brand is what's going to help build your business. And then know your stuff, like lead with the intent to add value to other people in order to, you know, be good at what you do. You can't be a one-hit wonder, right? You have to, like, I'm not saying you got to win back-to-back championships, but you got to like make sure that you're consistently trying to build trust, being consistent who you are, adding value, knowing your business and knowing it well is how you keep clients. That's why I've been working with the same set of clients for years. As I'm consistent in who I am, I'm constantly trying to raise the bar and add value. I'm always trying to learn new things so I can make sure that what I'm connecting and coaching them to do is culturally relevant and brings value to them. And I'm also asking a lot of questions. How can I help? The number one thing that I focus on in business is asking people, how can I help? You know, sometimes a lot of people are like, I don't know what I should do for my personal brand or what I should be posting about or what I want people to know about me. It's pretty simple. Sorry about that. It's pretty simple. Just ask them, right? Just ask your audience. What would you like to see more from me? What are you curious about? Are you interested in seeing this or that? Give them options. It's a really easy way to connect with your audience, to ask for their opinions, and to get real-time data. Passion over profit. So prioritize your brand reputation over sales. I know we're in the business of selling, right? We are in the real estate business where we need to sell. But I feel if you guys think about the passion of your business and your relationships of your brand over sales, that the sales are going to come if you focus on the reputation building, the relationship building, and the value creating part of your business. Be authentic. I talked about this a second ago, like being consistent of who you are matters. They want to know I'm getting the same thing every single time. I don't have to worry about which person is showing up today. And then show and tell. Like I love, and maybe you guys do too, you love to follow people who show you how they make the sausage. So document versus creating content. Even right now, some of the platforms are really prioritizing content that's less edited and more organic and more like you and less polished and edited and just real life clips with text on top. So document your journey. What's it like to work with you? What's it like when you want to go see a house or when you're evaluating a property? What's a checklist you walk people through? What are some things that you want to make sure you're looking for that will make your client's decision-making process better? There could be a whole host of things. And I can even share with you guys, with your group, a checklist of like, here are 40 or 50 different types of content you guys can be thinking about that will be relevant for your audience, and use a wide variety to talk to your audience to do your storytelling. Be consistent. So I think you guys love it when a brand shows up the same way every time. You should be doing the same. So being consistent about your personal brand of how you do things. Is it something that you love to share? I love actually the fact that, you know, Melody's in her car. People love watching videos of people in their cars, especially if you're outside a property and you're about to go in. Okay, these are 3 things I'm excited about sharing my client today inside this property. Or before I go in, I always have a checklist of things that I want to make sure I walk my client through. Like, get them to know how you work, what's your style, and be consistent. And for some reason, the videos in the car, people still fill out those. I certainly do. Demonstrate your authority. If you're going to build a strong personal brand, you need to have credibility and you need to have authority. Now, there are so many people on the internet that you don't know, like, what is their experience in giving me this diet content or this non-toxic brands you should live on or eat. You have to make sure that you're credible, and you have to actually do that. I recommend everybody on this call create a post or a video that you pin to your Instagram, that you can also, I think you could do it now on LinkedIn, which is your bio, who you are, what do you do, what is your experience. This bio video or bio post needs to be pinned to show your experience, and because sometimes the profiles don't have enough room to tell the whole story. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see I have one. Here's who I am. This is what I do. This is where I grew up. This is where I worked. This is my experience working in communications for 30 years for these companies. Everybody should have that. Like, have that pinned to your profile to demonstrate your expertise and credibility with your audience. Create differentiation. So we talked about what are some of the mechanics of a strong personal brand, or what makes a strong personal brand. What are the things that you can differentiate yourself to attract those attention and clients, and spell it out for them. Tell them, this is what I think is different than the way I do business. And if you guys don't know the answer to this on this call, it's okay. We'll work on trying to find out what it is that you think is your secret sauce, or the thing that's a differentiation point that you should be putting in your messages, in your videos, in your emails, or however you connect with your audiences. So there's a lot of reasons to create a personal brand. And I feel like the first one I want to walk you through is increase your visibility. So showing up consistently. I'll tell you guys a little experiment that I've been doing. I've been on LinkedIn for a while, but I haven't been that visible on LinkedIn. Like, I would go in every once in a while, but I wasn't consistent, right? And so what I started to do is post regularly on LinkedIn. Thoughts, there's an easy template. You don't need to create content. You just go into LinkedIn platform, push the plus sign. They have a template, put an idea and post it. To increase my visibility on LinkedIn, so I have a wider audience. And I can tell you, I've been posting regularly, and I've grown so much organically in the last 3 weeks because I've increased my visibility on the platform. I'm trying to reach a new audience, and it's working. And I just, that extra effort of using the tools within the platform that are easy for you to use is a great way for you to increase your visibility. But if you do that, and if you increase your visibility, you'll get more audience, you'll get more customers, you'll get more ideas, and you'll get more feedback. It helps you build your relationships, right? So having a strong brand can help you build more relationships. Another trick that I did, and I didn't even know to even think about doing this, is all the contacts that you have today on your phone, have you gone and added all of them on your LinkedIn? I didn't do that until someone told me that's what you should do. And because I have a lot of friends that are on my phone, but I haven't connected with them on LinkedIn. Those are potential relationships that people that know me that could open me into other relationships and other opportunities. So if you build a strong personal brand, it'll help you build relationships within your industry and community and other like-minded individuals. Third, creating opportunities. I really want you to think about what are the things that you can do to create opportunities for yourself. getting on stages, getting on podcasts, getting on media interviews, looking at other job opportunities that are available. If you build a personal brand, you'll be able to create opportunities for yourself and attract new ones. So if you are looking to grow within a certain community, so what can you do to be creating opportunities to be speaking in those communities more often or appearing in those communities more often? If you build your personal brand in those communities and target that's one of your objectives, you'll be able to get better opportunities in those markets. You guys are all on this call because you have talent and you have skills and you care about upskilling yourself. You have expertise to share with the world, and I want you to start sharing it. You need to own and build your personal brand, and people are going to Google you. People are going to Google you. People are going to look up your LinkedIn. People are going to look up your Instagram. Going through the process of identifying what your personal brand should be about will also help you bring in more opportunities. And it's an investment in yourself. There's nothing more important than investing in yourself because you are your own machine. You are the only person, like I said, who could put you on the top of your priority list. But to create those opportunities, understanding where your gaps are and what you need to fill is the difference between a strong personal brand and someone who's not spending enough time building it and putting it forward. I'm going to share with you guys after this call a checklist that I want you to do, which is a personal brand audit. It's things that I want you to go through and say, do I have this? Like it's simple things, but there are also some things you may not have thought about. Doing this brand audit, we'll see. So for example, can you guys raise your hand right now on the call if you have a call to action of how people can reach you on your social media? Okay, I'm seeing some hands. Good. A lot of people don't have their email on their Instagram or on their LinkedIn of putting in how they can reach you. So maybe you're putting out content, but you're not putting a website or you're not putting your email. And by the way, putting your email online is not dangerous. Like if you put your email online, it's a direct way for people to communicate with you. You don't have to reply to people who email you, but you can see what the inbound looks like. Second, digital reputation and offline reputation. So I'll walk you through a series of things to do a checklist on your online reputation to make sure that you are aware. If you want to build your online reputation, you have to participate. You can't just be an observer of content. You can't be an observer of what's happening. And then how do you use those online connections? And then offline. Offline is a big piece of networking. We're not going to get into that today, but I'd love to give you the playbook of how to do better networking, especially through social media and building those connections and what you can do to serve your network. Finding your narrative. What do you want others to know about you? What are you consistently doing in your behavior today? And what is most important to you? And what do you want your brand to be about? There's a series of questions, and I'm going to share it when I share the brand audit with you guys, that I want you to sit down and do this exercise and ask yourself. Like, okay, if I were to ask somebody, like, what do people think about me? Or what is the thing that people know about me? Is that consistent with what I want them to know? And by you articulating it and going through that exercise of saying, you know, maybe it's feedback you've gotten from customers that people consistently say about you. How do you turn that into something like, hey, that's going to be the thing I want to make sure that every person who meets me walks away knowing that I care about this thing? Am I an empathetic leader? Am I really resourceful? Am I extremely reliable? Am I really good at follow up on the details? Am I meticulous when it comes to discovering things that they didn't know? Like, what are the things that you want people to know about you? What are things that you're consistently already doing in your behavior, but you never identified it or named it or marked it as such? And then what do you want your brand to be about? Number 4, I'd like you to walk away from this call and develop a personal board of directors, a personal brand board of directors. These are people that care about your best interest. These are people that are willing to give you tough love. These are people that you're going to meet with once a quarter over coffee, over Zoom, over lunch, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you can afford, and talk about your goals. Like, I want my personal brand to be a powerful asset for me and for my business. These are some of the things I'd like to work on in the next year. For example, I'd like to speak on a stage. Putting that out there with your personal board of directors, asking them, do you know anybody? Do you know any of the sponsors of the big events? Do you know of the media outlets from the big events? coming up with an idea of what you find valuable, articulating that to your board of directors, and then having check-ins with them every quarter not only gives you an accountability partner, but also helps you achieve your goals because their board of directors will help you and will be there as a sounding board for you. And then last but not least, and there's a whole chapter in the book on it, and I can do a whole workshop on it. And I did one actually last week. I should have told you guys so you can join, but I did about how to network and how your business relies heavily on those relationships, building your network, trusting your network, serving your network. Your network is not there for you to do favors for you. You're there to serve your network. And if you are effective at serving your network, people will bring you into their networks. Networks are not there for get favors for your children's jobs or to get tickets to a game. I really want you guys to think about that value creation piece when dealing with your network and how you build it and grow it accordingly. Putting it to work. So your personal brand is about you. It's personal, right? So it has to be unique to you. And I want you to think about all the things you can do to be authentic. Authentic is in how you tell stories, being authentic and how you operate, and making sure that your professional image and your personal values are actually matching and are consistent. I want you to do what feels right for you, right? So if you feel that you can commit to doing one thing once a week, I'm going to create a LinkedIn newsletter following up from this call. For those of you who haven't created a LinkedIn newsletter for your business, it's a huge opportunity and it's a wonderful tool. A LinkedIn newsletter for your business, for your personal brand, is something that everyone who follows you will get a notification, will get an email, and get an app to let them know the notification that you've sent this. The newsletter is a great way for you to create your personal brand because you can talk about your thought leadership, your ideas, interesting articles. That's my dog that's barking who wants me to get her down. And a personal brand doesn't mean you have to share your personal life, right? Your personal brand means you don't have to reveal everything. You control it. Personal brand does not mean personal life. One example is Gary Vee. You will not see any pictures of his family or his children, right? And his is a guy who has his camera on him 24 hours, 7 days a week, right? So you don't have to reveal everything. You can have your boundaries and decide what you want to share and how you want to share it. Now, if you go to my page, you will see on my Instagram, for example, I play tennis, I have a dog, I love the Minnesota winters, I love the Dubai, winter. I do show some of my personal life just for context, but I don't show everything, certainly don't show everything. And I want you to know that you don't have to either. And then when it comes to online privacy, assume that there isn't any privacy, right? Everything you post can be seen by anybody, anytime. An angry customer, something that you've done that you weren't proud of, making sure you're being very vigilant about what do you put out there. You're the one sharing it. You're the one driving it. And you're the one that's building the persona, the reputation, the personal brand that you want. I always want to make sure a lot of you know about a couple of tools that are out there. I'm sure you've done a Google search for yourself, but if you haven't created a Google search alert for your name, make sure you do that. So every time somebody mentions you on social media or on Google or anywhere on the internet, you get that. There's another thing where Google has, where if you guys know, there's something called a knowledge panel on Google. If you haven't gone to knowledge panel and claimed your name and claimed your knowledge panel, so when someone Googles you, what website comes up, what photo comes up, what links come up. If you guys go to Google and go to knowledge panel, there's a process for you to claim your name. There's a process for you to claim all the images that are shown. Is there an old picture of you that you don't want up there? You provide the knowledge panel photo that when someone Googles your name, that's the name or the links that come up. Be consistent, you can't just post once a day or once a week and hope to build your personal brand. So you got to constantly show up, even in relationships. One of the things I do for networking is a tool. I make a list of people I want to connect with. And now it's over the summer. Can I get 15 minutes with 2 people once a month? Make a list, be intentional, show up for people. Don't just disappear or only call them or when you need something. And don't forget the offline world. A lot of what I love to do in building my personal brand has to do with networking and has to do with how I operate off social. If you do not want to be active on social for lead generation or for building your personal brand, make sure you're very, very strong in the offline world. But if I were you, I would have a YouTube channel about what the work you do. I would have a LinkedIn page about the work you do. And I would definitely have an Instagram page about the work you do. Online, we talked a lot about it's the key to helping you scale your business, your brand, and your ideas. And then offline is a whole kind of another area that I'd love to take questions about with you guys. But I think we're gonna leave it now to some Q&A, and I'll stop sharing my screen. Let me just get my dog for a second.
Yeah, I don't know. I can obviously see from you guys' reactions and the things that you guys have put in the comments. I believe this is landing at a very high level for everyone on this call. I'm going to open the mic up for anybody that has some Q&A, but what I love about this is this continuity and this congruency with who we are offline versus online, because people front, right? And people try to appear as something that they are not. And then when you pull back the thin veil, you're like, that's not really the life that you're living. And so I love that your personal brand is not just online, it's just who you are as a human being, and that you're a walking embodiment of that. And people can see it and they can connect with it and identify with this. So Maha, that really landed for me. Let's go to a few questions. Let's go Cynthia, we'll go Otis, you'll be on deck, and then we'll go Nicole. Let's go Cynthia.
Awesome. Thank you, Maha. This has been really, really powerful. And I already have 3 people that I know I'm going to send it to that aren't real. Yeah. Just people need to know about this. So my question is in regards to, there's a few agents and even a couple on the call that I know now that have other kind of like workshops, whether it be for like how to grow community events, how to host a great party, things like this, where they have stand stores, they're called. How can we as realtors also have this second lens of putting in, it's like 2 different brands that we're trying to sit together? Does that make sense? Is that clear?
Yeah, I get it. So creating a platform that you can do to create those opportunities, business opportunities for yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, one idea for you guys to think about is creating a podcast where you can bring in people to talk about, either bring in your customers and talk to them about their experience, what they're looking for, but it's a great way for you to do lead generation to get in clients, right? To do storytelling through the things that you know best about your business. So that's one thing. I think the other thing too is, don't just talk to people in your industry, talk to people outside your industry to get more people into your audience. So I talked to a guy who does these AI talks, and I'm like, he goes to all these marketing conferences to talk about digital marketing and AI. And I'm like, you should go to the real estate industry, the hospitality industry, the tourism industry, and show them what you do. And I feel like that's how you're going to meet new people. That's how you're going to get new contacts. You're not going to get them by talking to the same people in the same circles. And I think, building your personal brand, if you work in real estate, is key, because it's a very personal decision on who they work with and why they work with you and what your results are and how did you make that family's dream come true and what the storytelling you tell around it. Or if you're working in commercial real estate, the things that you're working on that are making a difference for jobs and economies and businesses, and how you're really trying to bring value that way.
Thank you.
Love that. Let's go Otis, and then Nicole, and then we'll start to wrap session with some key takeaways. Let's go Otis.
Maha, I just want to say we've had hundreds of people come on. I never miss a class, and I can honestly say this has probably been the best one I've ever attended.
Good.
I've kind of been already implementing a lot of the stuff that you've just been saying, so it just makes me feel good on reassurance on where we're going and what we're doing. And coming from someone who actually has done this for so long and seen so many different transitions through technology, through people, through networking. I mean, even working with somebody like how do you keep scaling up a person like Gary Vee, right? So even with the podcast, the familiarities, like the branding and everything, the General Mills, that's where really my passion lies in with music and sports. So, reading your bio and a little bit of things like that. I guess my question for you is, for me as a solo agent, and then I guess for the team, like leveraging those partnerships, like for, let's just saying, like anywhere, like football, baseball, or just in the industry and plants, Do you think that those are good brandings? Because like from marketing and branding standpoint, from years, like there's always been that high profile celebrity or high profile person. Do you think that that's still a good way of doing branding and marketing on a high scale?
100%. Yeah, I mean, it's not something that a lot of people can attain. I'll tell you, one of the ways that I get into these rooms and work with these people is I'm constantly trying to figure out how I can add value for them, right? I come up with an idea. I'm like, okay, let me give you an example. Matt Higgins wrote a book called Burn the Boats. He is on Shark Tank. He teaches a class at Harvard. He's like an investor in direct-to-consumer businesses. And he has a fund and he does all this stuff. And he's partners with Stephen Ross, who owns the Miami Dolphins. And I met Matt Higgins like 3 years ago or something at a Super Bowl party or some event at the Super Bowl during Miami. Anyways, long story short is I was like, okay, I really want to work with him. I got to figure out how to get to this guy. And I talked to him and he knows that I go to Dubai and I do things in the Middle East. And I'm like, hey, Matt, you know, if you ever want to go to the Middle East, I'd love to like organize a visit for you. I'd like to do something for you, like either do a presentation to you about why you should do business there or why it matters. And I just try to think of like, what's the thing I could do to bring value to him that he doesn't know? Like, so understanding he's a big business person, he's an entrepreneur. I have to think of something. I got to create value. I got to figure out what's the thing that I can create value for him. It's one thing that I know. I know a lot of the Middle East. I know about Dubai. I know about the region. So rely on yourself. What's something you really know and you know well? And then who could you offer that to build a relationship with? And I did that. And so then I offered him and then I said, okay, I'm going to help. And anyways, long story short, he wanted to go to the region. So I took him, I got to work with him. And then he started to see how I operate and how I do business, and I do business with him now. And that was like a 3-year period between the time I met him and the time that this actually happened. So being a long-term player, think about creating value for other people, but it's the playbook that helps you get ahead and helps you bring the relationships. And then once you meet somebody like Matt, then he starts to introduce you to other people. Hey, Maha really helped me learn this thing. And because I did a good job, I was consistent, I delivered, I made a deposit in his trust bank, I can make a withdrawal now and say, okay, well, he will introduce me to somebody else. I don't ask for it. I show my intentions first. I try to create value first. And then they're like, huh, if she's doing this when I don't work for her, imagine what she'll do when she does work for me, like what she can do. And so I'm not saying doing this all the time, but I'm saying pick strategic people in your network that will help your business, that if you could get to them, what's the 1 or 2 or 3 things you can do to create value for them so that they can see you're worthy, you're valuable, you're reliable, you have the intentions, you have the knowledge, you have the credibility, you have the skill. If you start thinking about being a value creator for other people, you guys, I'm telling you, this works. And it really is the difference. And I've been an entrepreneur now. In August, my company will be 20 years. 20 years where I've been having to worry about payroll, paying myself, paying for my home, paying for my team. It's stressful being an entrepreneur. It's not fun. But you know what? I rely on myself because I got confidence, like I can do it. And if not me, who? And no one's going to dig me out of any hole if there comes to be a pandemic. I'm not going to rely on Gary's relationships to help me. I'm not going to rely on Matt's relationships to help me. I'm going to rely on myself. I'm going to have a network of my own. I'm going to think about what is the network I need to not just survive, but to grow my own business. And the more you start to do that, the more confidence you get. And the more you'll understand that the only person that was holding you back in the first place was you.
God, love this.
It's so powerful, you guys. It works. I'm telling you, like, I come from no money. I have nothing. I had to like figure it all out. I moved to Egypt, and even though I'm 100% Egyptian, I moved there when I was 27. I didn't speak the language. I didn't know anybody. And I'm like, okay, girl, you got to figure this out. And you can too. And it's not that hard. It's not something we're born with, but it's certainly something you can definitely master.
That's right. That's right. Nicole, I think JJ, hopefully we'll be able to get to you. I want to make sure I respect everybody's time. Nicole, rapid fire. What was your question or contribution?
It was the same with Cynthia.
Okay. It was kind of cutting out. So JJ, you'll be our last contribution, and we'll wrap session.
Just real quick. I mean, the energy you put out excites people. But I've noticed a lot of people take your energy and your style and then they fall short and they get either bummed out and they quit. And that's obviously pretty normal. My question is there anything that you talk about that reminds people that we're not all the same and everything you talked about can be applicable, but you can't mirror the energy of someone else or the ability to consume? For instance, Kenny is amazing. And if anybody on the team wants to keep track or keep up with Kenny, I think almost all of us are going to fall short. But by being around him, we're able to absorb a bunch of stuff. So my question is simple. Is there anything in the book or anything you can suggest to people to remember to, at some point, be within themselves so they don't get disappointed or sidetracked, you know? Kind of like Jordan with his Jordan shoes, you know, be like Mike. Most of us couldn't dunk.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's the reason why I wrote the book. Cause I was like, there's 7 rules, 6 of them are tools that I think you guys, everybody can do. And that's why I want to share this with a lot of people. Like, it's not me. It's just knowing, okay, how do you do it in this modern age? What are the things that we should be thinking about? How do I be my most valuable asset in my personal brand? How do I network properly? How do I create that value for other people? How do I become a long-term player? These are things that I think everybody can do. This is not something that is a Maha only thing. And that's why I wrote the book. I forgot to share, Elias. I had a QR code at the end if they want to join the community. And
Yeah,
then
you want to throw it up real quick?
Yeah. And I want people to like I have a lot of free tools and things like I do these workshops for free every Friday. Actually, I'm doing one this week on how to get free media coverage. So if anybody wants to join that, and I have a newsletter, you guys can get stuff. I mean, yeah, if you guys, I think that'll work. Take a picture. I almost forgot.
We got it.
Thanks you guys so much for having me. I would love to come back anytime anybody needs anything. I'm here to bring value, and I truly mean that.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, you know, I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, say thank you. This is a very, very special group that, you know, started with an idea. And when we think about the brand and think about the cause and the purpose and the crusade, it was always about how can I help others keep it moving towards their dreams, their goals, and their vision, right? That's a role, that's a responsibility of mine. And so I really, really take that to heart. I'm grateful for the opportunity for anybody that comes to the sessions, has came in the past, and then we'll see this in the future. And so I appreciate this. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Vegas and meeting you and sharing some time with you in Vegas. But very, very grateful that you were here today, you guys. So make sure if you do not follow Maha, follow her on Instagram. And thank you guys for spending this time with us. Be on the lookout for more sessions that we do. Obviously, we do this 3 times a week. As always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and go out there and crush your day. Thank you.
I'll be at Inman on Monday and Tuesday in Vegas. If anyone is there, please DM me. I'd love to meet you in person.
Let's go. I'll see you there. Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Bye.